Welcome back to Sports on Tap, live from Studio J in Brunswick, Ohio. I'm Rob Trump. We have Ed Dick, Sean Duffy, Josh Jeffy. We're part of the NEO Sports Insiders Network, neosportsinsiders.com. And we're going to talk a little Ohio high school football coverage here from Sports on Tap and the NEO Sports Insiders. And there it is.
There we go.
Oh, man.
Never gets old, does it?
God, I can't wait.
I'm getting chilled.
I'm actually be at football practice tomorrow, so I'm pretty excited.
It's a great time of the year. It's a great time of the year. Everybody's undefeated.
2 days starting up.
Two days start for most days on August 1st.
Wow.
Next week next week will be an off week for most programs. This week they're getting their last bit of camp and conditioning in. Let's take a week off, and it's camp time. It's doubles time, and there's we've all been through doubles. We all know what it's like from a player aspect.
Yes, we do.
I've been lucky enough to be somewhat a part of it, and I say somewhat because I'm not there all the time. As a coach this will be my 14th year as a coach at Brunswick.
Holy cow!
So it's
you're old.
I know. Yeah. My wife had to cut some of the gray off my head yesterday.
Oh, really?
My God, it's very depressing.
That's depressing.
It is depressing. You're not kidding.
That's crazy.
I'm not making a joke. That's the most depressing thing when you look down and you're like, that's my gray hair?
But do you know what's crazier? That Ed has been involved in football for 14 years. I mean, that's pretty impressive, and I'm sure you get excited when this time comes around. Our football coverage with Sports on Tap, started, last year? We really got more and more involved.
Last year was the inaugural year of our high school football coverage, and I think it went over like gangbusters.
And, we've covered high school football for a long time, but our coverage last year was very different. We went game by game in certain conferences, which was the Southwestern Conference, the Suburban League, and the Greater Cleveland Conference. And, we broke it down, had player MVPs, and broke down the games, gave stats. I think we did overall a really good job. We had a lot of fun doing it. This year, it's pretty much going to be that way, but we're going to have a game of the week on NEO Sports Insiders, in which we're going to have video. We're going to have Sean Duffy writing articles for the games. We're going to have a social media. Part of our social media will cover the games, have pictures and everything, with Josh Jeffy doing that. And we're going to get more involved. A game of the week every week on NEO Sports Insiders. There's going to be a lot of coverage on neosportsinsiders.com, so make sure you go there. It's going to be a pretty fun year upcoming, but we're going to hopefully have more coach interviews and player interviews part of it too.
So here's how it works, folks. What's going to happen is we're going to do our normal Monday show, our weekly Monday show like we did last year, where we recap that previous Friday and even Saturday's games. What we're also going to do on that Monday is select the next week's game of the week. For instance, let's say Manor Hudson's playing that following Friday.
They're in different conferences, by the way.
But they still play each other, right?
No.
Okay, just as an example.
Okay. Just an example.
Just an example.
Just got to keep it real for our fans out there.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
let's
Hudson
say
changed.
Let's say it's Strongsville, Brunswick.
Don't mess with the professor.
And we select that as our game of the week. We will let you know on Monday what our game of the week is, and we will plan accordingly on being at that game. So we'll be wearing the SOT podcast shirts. Rob will have a camera attached to his hand. I will be in the stands watching the game.
I'll have my phone.
And Josh Jeffy,
social media,
will
baby,
be out there bothering coaches on Twitter, asking them what the next play is so he can get it out on social media. What we want from our fans and from the fans of these teams that we go out is more interaction social media-wise. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat.
Snapchat?
I don't care. Whatever it is.
I'm not on there, but I've contemplated.
I'm just saying, we want to get fans in there. This is a good way to kind of cheer your team on and be a part of our show and help us, cover the game as best we can. Unfortunately, because Ed Dick is a integral part of the Brunswick Blue Devils football.
Wow.
He will not be able to be out there with us because he will be coaching every Friday night. So Ed will be there in spirit, and he will be cheering us on while he's also yelling at 14-year-olds.
Wow, 14. 14, huh?
Some of them are 14, aren't they?
Yeah, none of the kickers I coach.
Oh, okay.
No, I got a couple of I got a lot of returners this year. And,
So you only coach here. You don't coach like the kickoff team or anything like that.
No, I assist with all the special teams I assist on. I mean, I'm well versed in the ways of actually kicking and punting the football. But the coaches put the game plan in as far as the return plans and the blocking schemes. I know a little bit of it just so I can have working knowledge of it. But those guys that do the majority of it. I do this because it's something I've loved to do for the last 14 years. I do it at my alma mater. Been volunteering for 14 years. One of the few people that actually, and if someone wants to dispute this, they're more than welcome to. I have no problem saying this. I'm probably one of the few people out in Mass that can actually teach kicking of football and actually know what I'm talking about. And I think that's a luxury for, I think it's good for a high school program to have. Now, as I say this, the kicker is probably going to go 0 for 10 this year. Kick the first kickoff out of bounds, and I'm really going to stick a foot in my mouth.
Don't worry. We're only going to save this recording.
Yeah, don't worry.
The guys are going to do a great job. The guys are going to do a great job covering all the games. I will do my best to, in whatever minimal way I can, to help the Brunswick Blue Devils hopefully reach the playoffs, win the conference championship, and see what we can do in Week 11 going forward.
I think it's going to be fun. What I was thinking. And what I'm really excited about is actually going to more games. Rob and I went to North Olmsted, North Ridgeville last year just to see what the atmosphere was like, just to kind of get out there and say, more as a test for us, could we do it? And we were able to do it. I mean, we didn't bring the camera. We didn't bring, we just kind of did periodic social media.
I videotaped that game.
You did?
Yeah, I did. I took a video camera, and Sean was taking notes diligently on the sidelines.
Oh, I thought we just used our phones at that game.
No, I took a video camera that game.
Regardless,
it was a fun game.
I think that was
Demario McCall, the Ohio State recruit, was there. In North Ridgeville won that game, and it was exciting stuff. So we'll be all over the place, and we're going to go through the games and the schedule. So we'll probably announce that at Z's Cream and Bean, some of our games, because we have. Hopefully, a guest list for Z's, too. Some coaches are going to be coming up there. We know one is already scheduled, and it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that.
Friend of show.
Yeah, friend of show. The new head coach of Berea Mid-Park, John Hunick, will be joining us on Wednesday, August 3rd, I believe is the date.
Good for him.
Up at Z's Cream and Bean. We have some feelers out to some other coaches to have him join us up there, but we do know we have John Hunick. This will be his first time on as a head coach. He has been previously the offensive coordinator at Maple Heights, St. Edward, and Massillon, and he's been coming on with us for quite a while, and we're real excited to have him on and to really discuss how things are going for him.
And taking over a pretty good program at Berea Mid-Park right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, lots of exciting stuff going up here, and as the guys said, we're going to be covering different games, and we're determined what games of the week once we get further into the season. I think we can safely say we have the first 3 games actually picked out already. We kind of did a little bit of advanced scouting.
Well, now it's... Sorry.
Hold on, Josh, put your headphone back
on. Use that microphone, Josh.
Sorry. Ed, it's a good teaser, but we will announce those on August 3rd on our preview.
So make sure you listen.
I gotcha.
Or come up to Z's
and get some ice cream. Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun, especially talking to John Hunick. We almost need about 5 segments for him because he breaks down the game of football so well. I'm sure he's going to be really excited to get the season underway. Can't wait to hear what Berea Mid-Park's doing out there in their off season and see where they're headed this year. It's going to be a fun season, especially when you're getting more involved. We're going to have all kinds of good stuff, highlights from games, and Josh, you do a great job with the pictures on social media. We know I've seen you do your own social media. So
there you go.
I know that you're pretty experienced there. And Sean Duffy, he's a pretty good writer from what I hear.
I'm no Josh Jeffy. I don't throw a 6-pack of random out there.
Well, to be honest with you, I haven't either in a while. But I'll get back on that. Things starting to slow down in the personal life, so we'll get going on that.
Yeah. So another aspect of what we do. And I'm not sure if this is where you're going, Duff, so I'm sorry I cut you off.
No,
I don't know if this is a teaser or not, but what we did last year, to remind everybody, is, as Rob had mentioned earlier, we all cover we cover the Southwestern Conference, the Greater Cleveland Conference, and the Suburban League more in depth than other conferences. A, they're all very close to each other, and B, they're more out there for us. So what'll happen is every Monday, when the football season starts, we will have our show, and each of us cover a specific conference. For example, Rob covers the Southwest Conference. Josh covers the Greater Cleveland Conference.
For sure.
Sean covers the Suburban League American Division. And yours truly covers the Suburban League National Division.
Senior circuit.
So what we do is we go through the scores usually on Friday night, if not Friday night, Saturday morning. We update our website, we update our Facebook, we update our Twitter.
Yep.
You can get the scores for those respective conferences from us. We are the first ones that will get that up for you, or we will get that all in a spot where you can easily find it. On Monday, we'll go over the games. We'll throw a little bit of stats out at you. We'll go over each game. We'll talk about the stats. We'll also talk about who we pick for each of our conferences' player of the week.
Yep.
And then we each have our own game of the week that we're going to focus on specifically to write about, maybe go a little bit more in depth on, do a little bit more statistics, and write a little bit more about it.
Just more in-depth coverage, and that's pretty much the theme of our show when it comes to the high school football season is we're getting out there. You're getting some of the most in-depth high school football coverage. Now, granted, we can't compete live right after like Friday night touchdown and all that for your local news channels, but we could be a little more in-depth. Following the game, let all the dust settle, let the coaches catch their breath, and we can actually see what actually happened, so we can go over the previous week, but definitely look ahead to the next week, the upcoming week. And again, we're going a step further. We're actually going to be picking a game where we're going to go be there live and give you a firsthand account of what's going on in what we view as our game of the week for that particular week, and it's going to be really good. You're going to get some good coverage. We know on our Twitter page we have a lot of high schools, the schools that we cover, follow us, and we appreciate that very much. We look forward to working with all these schools and getting to know them in the future, getting to have more schools, get in contact with them. Because pretty much, to give you an idea what Sports on Tap is going to be, it's going to be your source for local high school football coverage here in Northeast Ohio. And I think we got a good thing going, and we're looking to make it better.
Well, I was going to say, just throwing an idea out there, if there are people at these games and they want to get in touch with us and want to call into our show and talk about some of these games, we could possibly have, some opening there that they can call in our show and give us some stats and some recap of the game, or they can, give us the information and we can do it. Yep. But either way, the more the better. So if they want to be a part of our show, get in contact with us at sportsontap.podcast@gmail.com, and we can talk about that if you're at the different games in different locations.
One thing we need to mention is a lot of this stuff, while found on our website, is also going to be fed heavily through NEO Sports Insiders. They're doing
right. Matt
Lodi and his team are dedicating themselves to covering all high school football. We're selecting our game of the week. We're doing what we do. That's awesome. But we're also NEO Sports Insiders is going to be sending people out to cover all the games, as many as we can, and get you that. So not only do we want SOT Podcast to be your source for high school sports, we also want you to look at NEO Sports Insiders as your primary source, because again, the Fox 8s, the Channel 19s, the Channel 3, they have X amount of minutes to fill in the sports when it comes to high school football. We're looking at it a step further. We want you to come to our website and say, I got this information from NEO Sports, or got it from Sports on Tap, or got it from Rob Troutman, the man, the myth, the legend.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, baby. Or Josh
Bingo,
Jeffrey,
bango, bongo.
The social butterfly that he is.
I believe I can fly.
But yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited to go out there. The only drawback is when those rainy, snowy, cold nights. We used to always say, "Oh man, it's a crappy night. I wish poor Eddie's out there on the sidelines." Now we're gonna be out there on the sidelines.
You guys be wearing shorts?
Maybe.
I'll tell you what, last year, or actually the year before that, was not terrible. We had pretty good weather up until playoff season. Then it started snowing. And
last year, remember the North Olmsted game?
That was pretty cold.
It was windy. It was so
It was pretty cold, but Robbie T still got those touchdown pass highlights on video.
Yes, he did.
He didn't miss them. Bada bing, bada boom.
Is that your awkward segue into something?
Yeah, bada bing, bada boom. Realest guys in the room.
Yeah.
How you doing?
If it goes silent, that kind of breaks it up a little bit, you know? But, you know, looking at our conferences, guys, what's one thing that you're looking forward to in your respective conference? Let's first start with Josh Jeffy in the Greater Cleveland Conference.
Well, you know, I'll keep it close to home. Ed with the Brunswick Blue Devils, second year going into the new office installed. You know, just talking to Ed a little bit about how the team's gone. He, you know, from his point of view, the team's getting more comfortable with it. Again, they were a very, very young team last year. Had a little bit of success. See how much they can add to that. I'm looking forward to that. Obviously, you have the big boys in the conference, Menor, Solon. They'll be able to be up there again, too. We'll see how Strongsville is going to come back again after a very hot start but kind of trailed off towards the end there. And let's not forget when it comes to high school football, Division I is going back to 4 regions this year.
Yes.
Instead of the 2 regions like they have been. So
muy importante.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting to see how the playoffs do indeed shake out. So that's one big thing, not just conference-wise, but Division I-wise, how that's going to play out.
You know, and another thing, too, is they're playing Division I is moving to Friday nights now. It is no longer going to be on Saturday night games. So we're all used to having Saturday night football for Division I schools. The OHSAA has recently announced that they're going to be moving those games to Friday nights instead of Saturday nights.
Dude,
so that's
it
is interesting.
What's the reason for that? I'm just curious.
Money.
Well, they're looking at you know, from what they're saying. Well, yes, it is money. Yep. It's for attendance purposes. For several years, and this was actually broken by our own Matt Lodi from NEO Sports Insiders Network. I'm actually reading his article. You know, he cites that attendance has decreased at Division I games in November, primarily due to some fans opting to go to college games. Those are more night games. So instead of going out and seeing your favorite, you know, instead of seeing your maybe a game that you wouldn't normally see, or maybe even seeing your own local team playing, you're watching those high-octane games between the SEC or between Notre Dame and whoever they're playing, or the Big 12. Those are big games that are going on in November on Saturday nights. Where, you know, Division I mean, we love all the other divisions. The Division I is the moneymaker. That's where everyone, you know, they're the biggest schools, they're the biggest draws, and they want to be able to maximize the attendance maximize the attendance for those who want to come see those games. So, you know, it'll be the first time since 1980 that the Division I playoff games will be on Friday nights instead of Saturday nights. Now, I'll be honest with you, I love playing on Saturday nights. I thought it was the coolest thing ever for some reason. Like, it was a playoff, you know, Friday, you know, it's kind of like the calm before the storm. Saturday, you don't have school, so you're just kind of like, you know, you have all day to really prepare for the game. You're not really worried about school or whatnot. And, you know, we were lucky enough to play, you know, we were lucky to play off in the Saturday game at home, and I was lucky enough to play one at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And there's nothing like it, but I certainly see where they're coming from where the OHSAA is coming from on this. You know, driving attendance. Yep. You know, that's important. I mean, you know, high school football is so awesome to watch live. I mean, it's cool you can watch some of the games on TV from the comfort of your own home, but you don't really appreciate it. You don't get to hear the band. You don't get, you know, it's very inexpensive to go to a high school football game. You know, get a hot chocolate, get a box of popcorn for $2. Life's good. You know, slice of pizza from your local pizza parlor. There's nothing like it.
Over.
So that's a big move that's happening this year in the playoffs as well with Division I, in addition to going from 2 regions to 4.
Yeah, I think overall it's going to be fun to watch this year. I didn't know about the Friday thing. I think that was recently. Just came down, didn't it? Yeah,
it was June. It was in June.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, they got to do what they got to do. I mean, especially with Ohio State games, there's a lot of people that travel from this area to go to Ohio State Stadium, and I mean that place fits a lot of people. People tailgate, so it's understandable there. But like you guys said, it's going to be a good year with our conferences, doing a lot of things differently, and I think we're going to have some pretty big announcements at Z's of some of the big games we're going to be covering.
Oh, yeah.
I know we know a few already, but we can't give those away. You're just going to have to tune in or come up to Z's for what we're doing, because it's going to be fun with John Hunick coming up, and we have hopefully some other big coaches coming up there as well. So
one thing we need to address, and one thing I know you asked about other leagues and what we think is going to happen in our league. I really haven't gone too in depth in my league just yet, just simply because of personal work and stuff like that. One thing I'm excited for, though, is to see if our friend of show, High School Buckeye, can build on that success they had last year. I know they were
Mark
huge.
Pinzoni, head coach out there.
It was awesome that Buckeye came out and represented and did a very good job. So I'm hoping that they can continue that success, because that was fun to follow at that point in time.
Well, one thing that was awesome about Buckeye is they sent us all kinds of statistics, player information, game information, and we were able to really get good coverage on them. So it was a lot of fun, especially talking to Coach Pinzoni. They're losing some players this upcoming year, but what a great job he has done as a coach to get Buckeye back at the top of the Patriot League out there. So that'll be a fun team to cover.
Ed was talking about how great high school football is, and Buckeye's a great example of how great it is. I mean, that team who really hasn't done much in a very long time had a very good year last year, but it brought the community together. I mean, everyone who was a resident of that school district or that school was into it, and that's apparent how we would get when we had coaches and players on our show. We got a lot of positive feedback from the community about that, and that's the power of high school football, and that's why it's such a big deal here in Northeast Ohio, and that's why we want to bring it more to you. And selfishly, we want to get more involved in it, because we all played high school football, and it's still a part of us, and we want to keep it a part of us. And that's why we're doing it, because we love the game of football, and especially high school football.
And it's fun.
That's right. Guys, any last thoughts about our high school football coverage?
Just make sure that you tune in to our show August 3rd. A lot of great guests.
Wednesday, August 3rd.
Wednesday. We will let you know what our first 3 weeks we are breaking it down, or is it still not finalized?
That was 4 we were going to do.
Oh, okay.
Next 4.
First 4?
Yeah.
We have the 4th one too?
I thought we did. Maybe
apparently we still need to talk about that and discuss, but we'll have it all planned out.
Maybe it's
just a ruse to get you guys to listen to.
Yeah. We may go all 10. We may pick them all. Who knows?
Well, hell, I'm going to tune in.
Yeah,
that's right. Well, we're Sports on Tap, part of the NEO Sports Insiders Network. Want to thank everyone for listening. We're live from Studio J for Ed Dick, Sean Duffy, Josh Jeffy. I'm Rob Troutman. Thanks for listening. Go to neosportsinsiders.com to listen to all of our podcasts. You can also get good Cleveland sports coverage and other coverage. We're on at SOT Podcast on Twitter. We're on Facebook, YouTube. We also have all of our podcast archives, Podomatic, iTunes. Email the show, sportsontap, podcast@gmail.com. We're everywhere.
We are.
But get involved with the show. Love to hear from you. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend coming up. It's early right now, but have a great weekend. We're Sports on Tap, part of the NEO Sports Insiders Network.
I thought we picked 4. I thought we had Highland.